vernos en Facebook Live. Estamos en la página de Café con Leche, Radio Talk Show, y luego reproducimos en todas las páginas. Los invitamos a que nos den un like, aunque no les guste.
Sí les va a gustar.
Sí les va a gustar. Bueno, pues el día de hoy tenemos a Erika de invitada, que solamente nos ha acompañado una vez, pero quiero recordarles acerca del periodo de enrollment en Lancaster, y están registrando a todos los niños en Transitional Kindergarten y primer grado entre el 14 de marzo y el 15 de abril, y les van a dar una mochila gratis con todos los útiles escolares. No se pierdan esta oportunidad. Acuérdense que pueden llamar al Wellness Center al 661-471-8400 para hablar con un especialista en inscripciones. Todos los niños se pueden inscribir. Les recuerdo que tienen programas de doble inmersión de lenguaje, lo que es excelente. Los programas de STEAM, que quiere decir ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería, arte y matemáticas, y también STEM, que es ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería y matemáticas, artes visuales y de actuación, computación, ciencias de computación en las escuelas Magneto, y también programas después de la escuela para que los niños puedan aprender adicionalmente o ser ayudados con las tareas, con todas las dudas. Así es que tienen también un kindergarten y transitional kindergarten de todo el día para todas las mamás que tienen que trabajar. Qué mejor lugar que dejar con alguien que sabe lo que está haciendo a sus niños y no tener que pagar dinero adicional. 661-471-8400. Could you please give the announcement in English now?
Oh, certainly.
Yes, please.
Lancaster Elementary School is now registering and preparing for the next school year, and they have a transitional kindergarten and a first grade enrollment, and they want people to certainly get in there and get their kids registered. It's a dual language immersion program. Well, the district is known for many things. They've got STEAM and STEM, visual and performing arts, computer science, magnet schools, after school enrichment, and full day TK, which is another program, a transitional kindergarten. Kindergarten program is also full day. So if you have any questions about this and are interested in getting your young one registered, you can call or go to their Welcome Center at the school district office. The Welcome Center number is 661-471-8400, and you can speak to an enrollment specialist who can help you out in getting registered. The enrollment is free, and preschool begins on April the 18th, 2022. So get on that, because it's coming. April the 18th is coming very quickly.
And look this
And
also.
register for the new TK and K and first grade students. They want you to register between the 14th and the 14th of March and the 15th of April. And if you get that done, then you can get a free backpack stuffed with school supplies and all kinds of little goodies for the little ones.
That is really good, no? Don't you think?
Right.
That is
And
very, very good. It's
it's
very much
very much needed
needed.
and very, very good. There are a lot of young people with babies who really could use that kind of support, because the economy is so demanding that mommies and daddies have to both go to work, and it's very difficult to do the child care. And this new legislation and this new TK program can help families with child care, because they're in school much of the day, and getting them off to a good, quick start in their education. I remember remembering, I was just thinking about this. I didn't have kindergarten when I was a kid. I started school in the first grade. There was no kindergarten when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
And do you know now there are so many opportunities? Because, for example, look, if you are pregnant
Mm-hmm.
and you start to plan, okay, what I'm going to do with my child, and then you start to breastfeed him, and then he's going to develop his brain better, and you are going to feel better.
Mhm.
And then after that, you enroll him in any of the Head Start programs or any of the early childhood education. That sometimes they even start when the woman is pregnant. So you can make him a path to success so good.
Right.
No?
Very helpful. And I'm not bragging, but I was retained in the third grade, but probably because I wasn't ready for school, that much school, when I started school in the first grade. Because there was no kindergarten, there was no transitional kindergarten, there was none of that early preparation to help me adjust to being at home and then being in school with, 26, 28, 30 kids from other families from other parts of the community. And we lived way out in the country, which was like, it took me 30 minutes to get to school.
I think we're very lucky here in the Antelope Valley too, because people on the very, very east side can go to either the Wilsona School District or the Keppel School District, and even their early steps for school success programs have been very, very helpful for families who don't know where to go. And they can get a leg up from before the child is born. So that's pretty cool.
Estamos hablando de cómo aquí viviendo en el Valle del Antílope hay tantas oportunidades para que usted pueda formar a sus hijos de manera diferente. Alguien que vino de otro país y que quiere hacer un verdadero cambio en su familia, en el futuro de su familia, lo que tiene que hacer es simplemente planear desde el embarazo, darle pecho materno para que el niño se desarrolle mejor, para que los dos estén más saludables, y luego de eso inscribirlo de inmediato. Creo que desde que estás embarazada te puedes inscribir en el Head Start Program, en programas de educación temprana, y luego conducirlo para que él pueda tener una educación y ser una persona exitosa. Y nos estaba platicando Michael que él no tuvo la oportunidad de tener acceso al kindergarten, porque no había en ese tiempo kindergarten. Él entró a primer año, dice, pues obviamente él reconoce la importancia de estos entrenamientos preescolares, porque te enseñan cómo te vas a comportar en la escuela, qué es lo que vas a aprender, te enseñan a socializar, a trabajar en equipo, cosas que anteriormente nunca nos enterábamos, y que llegabas a primer año aprender todo eso, ni siquiera te sabías comportar. I bet you that you even didn't behave well in first grade because
No,
nobody
I wasn't getting in trouble. Well, I did spend a lot of time in the corner that first year. That first year in the third grade, I remember that, but I don't know why. I can't remember that part of it. But it was like my second year in the third grade, it just like the light came on. It's like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. I mean, that was when I began to know that I was learning and enjoying it, and I had a third grade teacher I was in love with too, Mrs. Gillis.
Oh,
She was
this is
great.
why you stayed twice?
Yeah, she was great. She was great.
Bueno, nos está platicando de su experiencia en la primaria, y dice que repitió tercer año, pero entonces ya dice, hasta mi segundo o tercer año empecé a entender cuál era el mecanismo de la escuela. Dice, tenía yo una excelente maestra que yo adoraba y es la que me ayudó, pero efectivamente pues esto hay que aprender, y los programas preescolares le enseñan eso. Vamos a ir un corte. We are going to take a break and we will be back.
Alrighty.
El abogado Ángelo Campano ya ha sido elegido 3 veces como el mejor abogado del Valle del
I
Antílope.
swear, your sister
Así
sounds
que
like
si
Jose
sales lastimado
Feliciano.
en cualquier tipo de accidente,
Every time I hear that, I think about him.
No, it's very good.
And I know it's her voice.
Y si no gana,
No, it's
le debes
different.
nada. No esperes más.
It's-
It is?
Yeah, because the song, only to start the song, is my jingle is with my sister. But every break we start with José Feliciano. It's it's a combination.
It's a combination.
Yeah, only the first time when we start the program
Yeah.
is my sister.
Right.
Every time that we go to court and come back, it's José Feliciano.
Pero necesitamos tu ayuda. Mira adentro.
It still sounds like Jose Feliciano. It sound like the same person
Well,
to me.
it's true, no? When you
Yeah.
think,
Oh, it's very
that
good.
confirms your
Yeah,
idea.
she's quite a professional.
Para nosotros
Yeah.
y para Pamper.
Sale, vale. Hola, hola, estamos de regreso, amigos, gracias por estar con nosotros y estamos platicando de cosas muy interesantes. Estamos transmitiendo desde 1470 AM, 96.9 FM y tengo el gusto de tener aquí invitados, lo cual hace totalmente diferente la dinámica del programa. You know, since I have been lonely for so long, I feel so excited to have somebody to talk with.
It's
Ah,
natural. It's
yeah.
natural to want to talk to people.
Yeah,
Es muy
do you know?
natural querer hablar con gente.
And even if you talk in the phone, it's not the same. It's not the same like having
Yeah.
you here is more fun. Bueno, pero vamos a platicar tantito con
very
Erika
interesting.
de lo que nos estaba diciendo también ella de Erika, ¿cómo ves tú la importancia de que los niños vayan a la escuela?
Para mí es muy importante, ahora estamos en una etapa que el gobierno de California, del estado, pasó leyes para que haya preescolares gratuitos para todos. Entonces ahora ya es más la oportunidad para las familias que puedan participar, que tengan ese apoyo, y no es difícil. En cualquier lado que vayas te van a decir, ve para acá y puedes aplicar. Incluso las organizaciones tienen sus programas que si no calificases para uno, puedes calificar para otro. Y nosotros precisamente cada año hacemos nuestros preescolares con las familias. Y este año se van a graduar como 60 niños de preescolar a kinder. Y todos en todo el Valle del Antílope. Si no encuentras en un lugar, puedes encontrar en otros. Y puede ser muy fácil, no es algo que la gente tiene que intimidarse por no saber dónde empezar.
Bueno, we are talking about the opportunities for children, for Hispanic children now with the new programs that the governor of California approved. But do you know what I noticed? That many Hispanics, they believe that, no, she's so young, she doesn't have to go to school, or he's so young, don't worry, it's not important, and it's when you are building the character and the personality of the child. You tell them because you are the teacher.
Well, it's certainly very important because there are so many things that we have to learn in our society today that we didn't so long ago. Children, look at your cell phone. You see that big piece of equipment? That has more technology in it than the computer that went out in the outer space the first time. That telephone right there. These children grow up, and that's the oldest piece of equipment they have.
Wow.
If you think in those terms. And so every day they're capable of walking around with a piece of technology that sent a rocket ship into space. So they've got a lot more things to contend with, a whole different world to contend with, and it's incumbent upon us to do the best job we can to prepare them to succeed in it. And if they've got old school parents, they're going to have an old school start, which is not going to be up to speed.
Estamos hablando de algunas familias hispanas que piensan que la educación no es importante porque está muy chiquito, está muy chiquita, y sin embargo están afectando seriamente al niño o a la niña, porque es como construir un edificio. Si le pones malos cimientos, el edificio se cae, pero si empiezas desde tempranito a llevarlos a la escuela, a los programas preescolares que los van a preparar para que puedan avanzar hasta la universidad sin ningún problema, es diferente. Entonces ya nos dijo Erika que hay disponibilidad, y nos está hablando Michael de una realidad muy importante. Dice, mira, tu teléfono celular tiene muchísima más tecnología más avanzada que la que tuvo el primer cohete que lanzamos a la luna. Y esto es con lo que están lidiando los niños. O sea, nos van a dejar totalmente rebasados, pero es importante que les ofrezcamos las avenidas por donde ellos pueden ser exitosos, porque a pesar de tener mucha tecnología, si el muchacho no va a la escuela, si no se interesa, si no sabe, no tiene guía, pues la tecnología nomás le va a servir para jugar juegos en la computadora.
Y fíjate, Lili, algo que yo he notado es de que las familias que involucran a los niños desde chiquitos, no es decir que los vas a dejar y te vas, sino tú estás con ellos. Se dan cuenta del desarrollo de los niños físicos, y te lo digo por experiencia. Mi hija más chiquita estuvo en el programa de Early Steps for School Success que también lo tiene el distrito
Allá hay
Kepo.
que vernos mejor.
Ella, gracias a la maestra, la coordinadora, nos dijo, ¿sabes qué? Tienes que ir al centro regional. So what I was saying is that at an early age, there's so many opportunities for the experts, the teachers who are involved with the families, that they can detect things that are can become problematic in the future, right? So
Sure.
my child being enrolled in the Early Steps for School Success program in Lake LA, which is also part of the Keppel district, they were able to tell me, you know what, I think your daughter, even though she's 6 months old, you should go to the regional center.
Right.
So in reality, there is so much more you can do for your child as you grow with them
Right.
than send them off to a child care. And I think the early education, starting from pre-birth, is such an important thing, because can you imagine you as an educator getting the kids at a later age when it is a lot harder to help them develop, especially if they have behavioral issues like autism or some kind of spectral disorder that leads to issues as an adult. But if you get it at like 3 months or 6 months,
Right.
even though people say, oh, that's too early, I can tell you, I am, I am living it right now. Yo estoy viviendo por eso ahorita. Y gracias a una persona del distrito que está involucrada con las familias, diciéndome, ¿sabes qué, Erika? No sé si lo has notado, pero parece que Astrid está un poquito atrás de lo que debe de hacer. Estos son los recursos que te podemos dar. And that was beautiful for me, having somebody tell me straight, hey, here are resources. So it's not just about learning your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. It's having the teachers who are there for your kids at a young age give you that support, because they went to school for that, right?
Yeah.
Ustedes fueron a la escuela para eso. Yo no fui a la escuela para ser maestra. Yo sé que yo puedo ser maestra para mi hija, pero ustedes son los que tuvieron esa educación para apoyarnos a nosotros y ser mejores padres.
Lo que está diciendo Erika, muy importante, amigos, como el llevar a sus niños, exponerles este tipo de experiencia, no solo les va a ayudar a progresar, pero también puede ayudar a detectar cualquier deficiencia en el aprendizaje o en la personalidad, cualquier problema que se pueda atender de inmediato y no dejarlo que evolucione hasta que ya son 6 años y nunca ni te habías dado cuenta. Entonces por eso es tan importante salir a la escuela. Y the other thing that I see like a huge opportunity is that we live in an area with so many aerospace companies that pay very good salaries, and that they used to bring people from other states, from other countries, and now we have classes starting in early kindergarten or something with STEAM or something like that. Can you imagine if you tell your child, do you know you are going to work in NASA since you are 2 years old, you are going to be an astronaut, you are going to go to the moon, that kind of things. They are going to have the opportunity to go in that pathway and be so successful. And now I can see many children of undocumented people that came here to try to bring them, to give them a better life. They just quit in high school and that's it. And they feel so happy and nobody say anything. Where are the dreams?
I have a success story about that.
A ver.
Una señora que vive en Terranova, su hijo primero empezó en construcción, después de la high school, y ahora está trabajando en Northrop. Y ellos están muy orgullosos y él está haciendo todos sus sueños realidad, y eso es lo que necesitamos.
Dinos el nombre para festejar.
Well, la mamá se llama Sonia Carvajal. Hola, Sonia.
Sonia, felicidades.
Felicidades. So the success story is that we have a family member that lives up in Terranova. Her son started out after high school, working construction and going to Amazon and that kind of stuff. And then now he's working at Northrop, and he's doing way more. He's very proud. She's very proud of him. And they live here. They live in the Antelope Valley.
Right.
You know, these are the things that they can do now because they're getting this type of education.
And do you know, I see another benefit for parents, because the parent who is involved is learning everything at school, and then they are volunteers and they can get a job later. If someday we have an immigration reform for some. But you know, you learn a lot. You learn the tools to help your child, how to advance. If you don't go to the meetings, forget about it. I know that it's very stressful when you don't speak good English, you don't understand too much, but if you don't give up, you continue going and going and going, one day you are going to learn everything and even English, and then it's going to be, you are going to get ready to go to work in the school district. It's a win-win-win-win situation. Everybody wins.
Well, yes, that's true. And it's well, we're in a crisis situation in education right now, actually. We have a tremendous teacher shortages, and COVID was a terrible pandemic to deal with. But what happened was that it jolted our educational system as well, because all of a sudden what you were trained to do, what we were taught to do, what we had learned to do with, for, and about kids shifted. And it all had to be done in absentia. It had to be done online. And so many people were not prepared for that. We in the Antelope Valley, fortunately, were much, much better prepared than most school districts, because we had begun the process of infusing the technology in the process of learning, not the object of learning. And so we were taking a leap forward with our research and development where other districts had not even begun. COVID forced us into that mindset, into that level of operation, and we were much better off here in the Antelope Valley. And so I take my hat off to the Antelope Valley Union High School District and the feeder districts that have been preparing to do that.
And let's keep that momentum.
Exactly. And what it's done is it's taught us to, instead of working harder, to work smarter. And and use the technology as a part of the process of learning, not the objective.
Bueno, Michael nos está hablando de la escasez de maestros que hay actualmente. Estamos como en crisis porque no hay suficientes maestros. Esta cuestión del COVID pues creó muchos problemas adicionales, pero afortunadamente aquí en el Valle del Antílope estamos muy bien preparados en lo que respecta a la tecnología, y no lo hacíamos para dar las clases, sino como un apoyo a dar las clases. Pero cuando el COVID vino y la necesidad vino de que teníamos que seguir dando clases, pues ahí ya estábamos mucho más avanzados que muchas de las escuelas en California. Así es que eso nos ha dado una super ventaja. Yo quiero darle un gran reconocimiento al Antelope Valley High School District por haber pensado en avance de todo lo que pues de toda la tecnología y cómo aplicarla para que todo saliera bien. Así es que está muy interesante el asunto. We are going to take a break and we are going to come back with information, fantastic information for everybody. Sale y vale.
Were you injured in an automobile, motorcycle, bicycle, private property place, or at a work accident? Perhaps a dog bit you. Contact attorney Angelo Campano. He is prepared and ready to defend you. All consultations, meetings, and appointments are free.
Now
and you
I
pay
am in the face
absolutely
of
nothing if your case is not won.
business
Call
is
at
an LLC,
661-945-5300.
but I also have a non-profit organization that I opened many years ago.
Angelo
And then I
Campano,
want
the
to
attorney whom the community
make a
trusts.
transition of the
Las ves
LLC
todos
to
los días,
become
pero la
the
mayoría solo
non-profit.
contamos a
I
los
didn't do it
clientes,
before.
a
It
las
always told me,
de vecinos,
make it a
afectadas,
non-profit. And I
ustedes
said no,
saben.
because I'm going to have a board member that is going to fire me, and I don't want. You know how I have seen so many cases, people who work so hard, and all of the sudden comes a board and they, you are fired. What? You are fired. So this is why I decided I better wait. But now I am ready. I don't care if I am fired. And then I had somebody can continue with
Algunos
the
quieren la
mission.
ceremonia elaborada
Exactly.
y otros no quieren ceremonia. Cuando se trata de funerales hay tantas opciones
Sí,
como
non-profit.
personas hay. Nos
Okay.
enorgullece
Yeah.
decir Funeraria Torres ofrece
It's called
todas,
Café con Leche,
cremaciones,
too.
funerales,
By the way.
Why
traslados
not?
a México o
Yeah,
velorios
yeah.
en tu casa. Funeraria Torres,
So,
800-827-1726
estamos aquí
o
reunidos,
661
amigos.
951
Les quiero recordar
85
también a los que nos vean por Facebook que mi podcast, El Mojado, ya está en algunas áreas, en YouTube, en otros lugares, pero les digo más adelante. Vamos. Hola, hola amigos, muy buenos días, gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche. Les estaba yo comentando aquí a través de Facebook que mi podcast con las historias del mojado, for so many years, like maybe 8, 9 years, I interview every single Friday somebody who came undocumented from another country.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us how they cross and how they confront the challenges, because when you arrive, you don't know the language, you don't know, even if you knew how to drive, you have to learn all over again.
Right.
You don't know how to read the signals. You go to the market and buy the wrong things. It's so challenging.
Yeah.
And then you don't understand. I remember my first McDonald's, no, Kentucky Fried Chicken. No, I can't remember what was. But I say I just going to ask, I want Kentucky Fried Chicken, no? But my surprise, what kind of Kentucky Fried Chicken do you want? Just give me a
Just
Kentucky.
give me chicken, please.
And then no even, I didn't even know how to say to go, and I said, like.
Is that how the chicken got crazy?
Estamos hablando de todos los retos y lo que implicó a todos los que somos inmigrantes, ¿no? Muchos tuvieron que pasar la frontera en circunstancias increíbles. I remember one lady that the person who was that she paid to help her to cross, and they were paying so much. He left her in the desert with two little kids all the night, and he came back the following day to pick them up. But says it was so absolutely cold.
Yeah.
And with my two kids, babies, they are so. That business is so ugly. They are so cruel. They don't care, all just to make money. Very few. I have here very few stories of coyotes.
That's what I call them, coyotes.
That they are nice, but most of them, they don't care. Just it's a business.
The coyotes that crossed my parents and us, they took my dad and had him work for about 2 years before we saw my dad when I was little. They're awful people.
Well, I'm going to invite you to tell us the story of your father.
The word that you're talking about, sale, for me it was sale. Mami, ¿qué sale? ¿Para qué vamos a salir? Sale. When we would go to the supermarkets and they would say, flash sale. What is sale? ¿Qué sale? I remember all those things.
Now explain that.
Blue light.
Yeah, so sale in English is like, you're selling something and it's on a discount. But in Spanish, sale is like going out somewhere. And so we were trying to figure out why every store where we were in LA was like putting sale. But it was very
maybe you were thinking they are inviting me to go out.
Yeah, or groceries. Groserías. Aquí venden groserías. Groceries in English, the Spanish version of that word sounds like bad words.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's just weird.
And then you translate in Spanish the same.
Why are they selling bad words?
Groceries is gross.
Am I going to go into the store and then they're going to tell me to go to hell or something?
Qué funny. Mira, muchas cosas que pasan. Bueno, rápidamente para eso ya tengo mi podcast y vamos a publicar todas las historias que durante muchos años aquí hicimos. Now, vamos a ir con Erika, que nos tiene información de vital importancia para todos los que se quieran sacar la lotería este año. Aquí está Erika. A ver, Erika, platícanos de este programa.
So, este programa se llama Respira, el programa piloto del Condado de Los Ángeles para ingresos garantizados. This program is called Breathe, LA County's Guaranteed Income Program. SBCC is the program administrator, which means that we help get the outreach out. We're going to work with agencies in the local areas of the LA County to get more word out, because we don't want people to miss the opportunity. And then we're going to create a system to follow up with the individuals, as opposed to previous programs who just give people the money and then people really don't know what to do after. What's the point? What's the process?
Espérame, a ver. Otra vez, repite eso que dijiste, lo último en español ahora.
So, la parte vital de SBCC es que como administradores del programa, lo que nosotros estamos haciendo, que es diferente de otros proyectos de ingreso garantizado, es que no nada más vamos a hacer el alcance para la gente, que ahorita están haciendo diferentes organizaciones con nosotros, pero también vamos a estar ahí en todo el proceso de los 3 años para asegurar que las personas que se seleccionen tengan una forma de apoyo, un consejero, alguien que les ayude, porque lo que hemos visto en otros programas es de que la gente se selecciona para este dinero y de verdad después no saben qué hacer con él, no saben qué se tiene que hacer, o a veces no usan esa oportunidad para cosas que de veras los van a sacar del hoyo, pues, porque ese es el propósito de este programa.
Bueno, mira, yo quiero ampliar un poquito más de esto. Este programa de Respira se trata de darle a 1,000 familias una cantidad mensual de $1,000 por un periodo de 3 años, imagínate. Está padrísimo, ¿no? Suena como si te sacas la lotería. Yo hice la cuenta, creo que son $108,000 en el transcurso de esto. Y tienes la libertad de gastártelo en lo que se te dé la gana. Nadie te va a decir cómo gastártelo. Obviamente se espera pues que cubras tus necesidades más básicas, ¿verdad? No que te vayas a ir a Las Vegas o que le hagas como algunas personas que luego la sacan de welfare porque usan el dinero para alcohol, tabaco, drogas. Entonces, es la oportunidad para 1,000 familias de que obtengan este ingreso, pero nomás son 1,000 familias, fíjate. Y estamos hablando de todo el condado de Los Ángeles. Entonces, ahora di eso también en inglés, Erika.
So the program is basically 1,000 residents of LA County will be able to apply and win the lottery, essentially, right? The University of Pennsylvania is going to select the 1,000 out of the many that apply, and those candidates will be given $1,000 a month for 3 years. So it is unconditional. There are no strings attached to it. People can spend it however they want to. There are no work requirements for it. And it is mostly meant to supplement but not replace their income, right? We don't want people to consider this as their only source of income. And when we did a series of test groups, when we had conversations in many different parts of the county, to just have a discussion on what it means to have a little extra cash, the majority of the people, ranging from seniors to youth that are transitioning into adulthood, foster care, transitioning foster care kids that are going into adulthood, young parents, African American, Hispanic, Caucasian, Asian, any large group of people that we interviewed in the past year prior to this. They all said different things. Some of them said, I want to get my health care in order. Some of them said that they want to pay their school debt so that they can be debt free and not have to worry about it. Some people said that they want to save that money so that they can buy a house and that can be their 20% down and build generational wealth for their family. Some people said, yes, every once in a while I'm going to have my celebratory cigarette. But you know what? If those are the things that people need to be okay, then this works, right? And this isn't the first pilot program that has happened in the state of California. The very, very first one, which was the Stockton one, Stockton, California, that was very successful for the people of Stockton, and it really helped lift people out of poverty. So we're working with the University of Pennsylvania and LA County and a network of partners that SBCC has brought on board so that there are no gaps in the application process, right?
Bueno, ahora una versión corta en español, por favor.
Cuando SBCC estuvo haciendo las entrevistas con grupos focales hace un año, estuvimos platicando sobre cómo se iban a gastar ellos el dinero, si es que se los dieran, qué es la prioridad para ellos, y muchos de ellos diversos de diferentes partes de la comunidad, no nada más del Valle del Antílope, sino todo el condado de Los Ángeles, dijeron que querían terminar de arreglar su situación mental, su salud médica, querían terminar de pagar sus préstamos estudiantiles, querían ir a la escuela, querían guardar ese dinero, no gastarlo y guardarlo para una casa, porque quieren construir el dinero de generaciones, ¿verdad? Porque tener una casa es una inversión para toda tu familia por muchos, muchos, muchos años de futuro. Entonces no era... Y unos sí dijeron que querían, tener su cigarrito y cosas así, pero, o sea, si eso es lo que se llama levantar a una población en de pobreza, pues ¿por qué no lo hacemos, verdad? Y hay que aprender que esto es un piloto, right? So we have to know that this is a pilot program. So yes, 1,000 people is not enough for the county, but it's a pilot program to see how the county can continue this long term for many people over however many years they're going to do it in the future.
It's the kind of same programs that President Biden was proposing, ¿no? That the Republicans didn't want to approve. Pero mira, ¿sabes qué? Una cosa muy importante que nos dijo Erika, este dinero no es para que dejen de trabajar, o sea, no vas a agarrarlo, ay, pues al fin que gano $1,000 ya no voy a trabajar y me quedo en la casa, no. Pero una idea muy importante, oye, es con que te ayude a pagar la casa. Imagínate el alivio de tu estrés, de que no vas a estar presionado porque ya pagaste la casa, que es tu patrimonio. Por eso les recomiendo que cuiden tanto de su casa, porque es lo único que tenemos, y si la dejas descuidada, sin limpiar y cayéndose, ya valió cacahuate, no solo tu casa, pero tu barrio.
As you say. And one of the things that I wanted to add too is that while the county chose it to be randomized for 1,000 people, SBCC is not going to be the one picking the people. I think a lot of people ask me, pick me. I have no way of picking people, sorry.
I wish you had told me before I invited you.
no es el que va a escoger a los 1,000 personas. Ese va a ser la Universidad de Pennsylvania. So, para los que me han dicho, escógeme a mí,
va a ser como
puedo hacerlo.
Va a ser sorteo.
Va a ser
¿no?
sorteo.
O sea,
It's going to be a
ni
lottery
siquiera
style.
va a ser tú si me caes bien o tú no, porque para eso se presta y eso no es correcto. Es una excelente oportunidad y queremos que apliquen todo. La buenísima noticia es que aún los que no tienen su situación legal todavía resuelta aquí, no son decamentados, pueden aplicar y calificar. Pero Erika, alguna gente me estaba preguntando, bueno, yo todavía vivo en mi casa con mi mamá y mi papá, pero yo hago mis propios impuestos. O sea, ya no me mantienen, solamente vivo en la casa, pago una contribución para estar ahí. ¿Pueden aplicar las dos partes?
Solo se pueden aplicar una parte. So, una cosa que SBCC no pudo negociar, y tratamos, era de que lo abrieran para hogares que son de 2 familias. O que alguien esté rentando un cuarto y no tiene nada que ver con la otra familia. Desafortunadamente, cuando nosotros entramos a este proyecto, ya habían dejado ciertas cosas por hecho. Ya no teníamos modo de cambiarlos. Uno de esos era esa. Otro era de que los elegibles tienen que estar en los census tracts que digan que están menos del medio ingreso porcentaje del condado de Los Ángeles. So one of the things that we did when we came in is we tried to negotiate so that other families, multi-family homes and that kind of thing, were able to qualify. But unfortunately, those are things that were non-negotiable, and we just have to run with those. But the other one is that the people eligible to apply have to live in a census tract that is below the county's median income.
The Antelope Valley is below.
For the most part, except for some parts.
Oh, really?
So there is a website, breathe.lacounty.gov. In Spanish is respira.lacounty.gov. And you can go there and put your address in and find out if you qualify. Yeah. So if you don't qualify this round, but the program is being studied and the research is being done, when the research is out, the county has to approve to continue the program. They will probably take our suggestions and they will hear us and how we work with people.
Vamos a ir un corte y regresamos enseguida. El abogado Ángelo Campano ya ha sido elegido 3 veces como el mejor abogado del Valle del Antílope. Así que si sales lastimado en cualquier tipo de accidente, solo llámale al 661-953-5300.
The
income that I was seeing is like one person, 56,000. I wish I was making 56,000.
So for a family,
$1,000 a month.
so for example, a family of 5, right, has to make less than $103,700 a year.
I think that most of the people who live in the Antelope Valley has a except Mike. Okay. Hola, hola, queridos amigos, muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros en su programa Café con Leche, la voz de los latinos en América. Les recuerdo que Café con Leche le trae todas las herramientas para que pueda mejorar su calidad de vida. Por eso invitamos el día de hoy a Erika con esta excelente información donde nos da la posibilidad de que algunas personas del Valle del Antílope, ojalá que así sea, porque acuérdense que son solamente 1000 aplicaciones para todo el condado de Los Ángeles, lo que es muchísimo, ¿no? Entonces, no va a ser tan fácil, pero ojalá que algunas personas salgan beneficiadas y que sean las gentes que más lo necesiten, ¿no? Si usted realmente no está en una situación, aunque califique, pero dice, bueno, pues le puedo ceder.
Pueden empezar a aplicar el 31 de marzo. Este 31 de marzo a las 6 de la mañana se va a abrir las aplicaciones. You can start applying on the 31st of March at 6 a.m. And then the applications will be only open for 2 weeks. So solo van a estar abiertos por 2 semanas. It would be April 13th at midnight. So a las medianoche de abril 13 es cuando se cierran las aplicaciones. Las aplicaciones solo están por el internet. They're only for the internet. However, if you go onto SBCC's Facebook page, you can find a link to the local centers in your area. We're working with several organizations that are going to be doing in-person, letting people borrow computers, letting people borrow, if it's just that you need internet, you can just go there and apply. So you can find them in any part. And so people can even call you if you need help and you don't know where to go. There is a hotline, and it's 213-342-1003. Si no saben dónde ir o no tienen acceso al internet para averiguar dónde está el centro más cercano de ustedes, pueden llamar al número de teléfono 213-342-1003 y ellos están disponibles durante el día para poder darles contestarles las preguntas que ustedes tienen sobre este programa, elegibilidad y todo lo que se involucra con este programa.
Bueno, pues qué bueno, ojalá que lo apunten por favor para que todo el mundo no se les olvide, los vamos a repetir en un momentito. Oye, otra cosa, tengo entendido que además iban a reclutar otras 1200 personas para que no iban a recibir el beneficio, pero que iban a hacer una clase de trabajo que les iba a permitir colectar algún dinero, ¿sabes acerca de eso?
Sí, lo que va a pasar es las personas que no están seleccionadas para los $1000, van a haber más personas seleccionadas para entrar en un estudio sobre ese tipo de cosas, ¿verdad? Cada cuestionario que contesten les van a dar dinero, van a estar activos en el parte de este proyecto de estudio. Y ellos van a poder seguir siendo apoyados por nosotros y por la Universidad de Pennsylvania. Incluso las personas en el Valle del Antílope que van a calificar, que califiquen y que les den ese dinero igual que los escojan para lo otro. Las personas que los van a atender somos nosotros, ¿verdad? De SBCC, personas familiares, no alguien que no conocen, no una persona que es como si fuera a ir a una clínica, sino yo puedo hablar con ustedes, mi compañera Andrea Rosenthal y mi compañero Basilio Hernández. Vamos a estar disponibles para apoyar durante las primeras semanas de este programa para asegurar que las personas que se escogen tengan todos los documentos que necesiten para comprobar su elegibilidad y estar aquí como apoyo.
Excelente, bueno, pues estas son las oportunidades que se dan y como digo, es sacarse la lotería realmente, tener la oportunidad de recibir este dinero, pero imagínense la importancia que te lo llegaras a ganar hoy y que finalmente tienes más tiempo y tu mente está más lista para concentrarte en lo que debes de hacer para seguir progresando que estar angustiado todo el tiempo. ¿Cómo voy a pagar la renta? No tengo para la comida, etcétera, etcétera. Por eso es una excelentísima oportunidad. Do you know where this money came from? Who gave that money?
So this is money that has been earmarked already for social services through the County of Los Angeles, and it was voted by the supervisors to use this money for this purpose. So it is taxpayer money, but it is something that has already been set aside. So it had to be used for social programs no matter what. And so it's not like it got pulled from another budget or things like that.
Now, do you know, we can see that there are a lot of money in all the communities, because you see the papers, what the cities are doing. It's like the schools are doing, and it's like there are a lot of money around, and I'm so glad that this money is going to be used for this purpose. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I think it's an admirable purpose, and I think that it could be beneficial to a lot of families to stabilize their income and their finances. I was interested. You said the University of Pennsylvania was involved in this. Did the county set aside the money for the university to use, or they set aside the money to be used for that purpose, and they just used the university to collect data and information?
I believe it's the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bueno, estaba preguntando Michael cómo ya entendió que es el dinero que está dando el condado de Los Ángeles, que se está destinando para este propósito, porque yo le pregunté de dónde viene el dinero del condado de Los Ángeles. Es dinero que se tiene y que se va a dedicar exclusivamente a programas sociales, pero Michael le estaba preguntando, bueno, ese dinero se lo dio a la Universidad de Pensilvania para hacer el estudio, o primero tuvieron la decisión y luego seleccionaron a la universidad. Dice que primero tuvieron la decisión y luego seleccionaron a la universidad para hacer el estudio. De cualquier manera, es un estudio que va a beneficiar a muchísimas gentes. And do you know, but the conclusion is going to be the same. Even before you start, you already know. If you have people who can fill all their needs, with enough money to fill their needs, you are going to have happiness and progress and a better community, no? If they give us more, no? What do you think?
Yeah, I think what's happening is that there's an effort to look for some verification of how it. Again, we're at another one of those crossroads that was highlighted by the COVID pandemic. But we're at a crossroads in our society where that technology that we're talking about, you can't even apply for this grant unless you can get on a computer and do the application. The technology is being a more of a part of our life, and technology is, it's taking jobs. It is doing a lot of things, and we're having to adjust to a different way of living, and to make sure that people don't starve to death and die out that way. There has to be some mechanisms and some ways to take the income from all of the companies that are making the money using the robots to support the population, or you're going to end up with we'll end up in a very devastating situation, because people they're how should I put this? There's a lot of people to do the work, but the robots are doing a lot of the work, and there will be more and more of that. But in the jobs where we need people to do work, we're running out of people to do the work, but we're not running out of people who need the help.
Well, but we have the high schools that are working in robotics.
Oh yeah, we're doing exactly. We are. I mean, and that's part of the whole conundrum, if you will. The robots don't do the work unless somebody's programming them.
I just
they don't.
A robot to clean my house, and I am happy with that. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, but they'll stop on you. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you need a service manager to put him back to work.
Oh, vale. Bueno, estamos hablando como este programa, porque decía, bueno, pues, yo creo que el resultado de este programa se va a ver que a todos nos da felicidad tener nuestras necesidades básicas cumplidas y no estar preocupándonos, destinar nuestra atención a las cosas que pueden ayudarnos a mejorar nuestra vida, en lugar de cómo vamos a comer, que voy a pagar la renta, que es un estrés espantoso que te consume totalmente. Pero dice Michael algo muy interesante, dice, sí, pero esto expone a lo que hemos estado viendo, pero se nos hizo a lo que ha estado pasando, pero se nos hizo más evidente por esto del COVID, ¿no? De cómo hay diferencias en las clases sociales, donde dice, por ejemplo, para aplicar para este programa necesitas computadora e internet, y ustedes saben que es uno de los problemas que confronta la comunidad latina. la falta de habilidad, la falta de computadora, la falta de internet, todo eso, y esto, bueno, los trae afortunadamente con organizaciones que están ayudando para que puedan superar este problema, y nos damos cuenta de la importancia de que todos aprendan tecnología, porque si no nos vamos quedando afuera. Well, we have 1 minute.
So I wanted to add really quickly, for people who are still in a situation where they need help now paying their rent, Housing is Key is going to end their program on the 31st. So if you need help getting rental assistance, because the application is online, but it is intimidating, we are also helping people, so you can reach out to me si necesitan apoyo con la renta.
El programa ya expira a final de este mes, así es que de volada todavía aplique.
510-501-9808, 510-501-9080. Y, perdón, 9808.
A ver otra vez.
510-501-9808. Y podemos ayudarles con eso. And then also, if you need help getting your taxes done and you don't have money to pay for tax services, this Friday we are going to do them for free with the VITA organization that's working with the IRS at the Yucca Community House here in Palmdale. And on Saturday, we are going to be at the Pear Blossom Community Center next to Keppel School District, doing them for people. There are still spaces, so you can call the same number. So si ocupan hacer sus impuestos gratuitos porque no tienen dinero para pagar para el federal y el estado, ustedes pueden llamarme al mismo número para este viernes y sábado para hacerlos gratis.
Repítelo rápido el número.
510-501-9808.
Well, time is gone already. Thank you so much for being with us. Hasta la vista. Nos vemos mañana, amiguitos.
Time flies.